further into the distance, nighttime that was coming towards the daylight. That's how dark it was. And I had no idea what it was, but as it came closer, it also came lower. And I started to be able to make out what it was, and it wasn't just one thing. It was thousands of things, millions of things. And as they came closer, I heard a sound, and it sounded like whispers. People whispering things. I couldn't make out what it was, but it was just thousands of people whispering. And once it came close enough, I knew that all of these tiny little things, that all of these tiny little things, that all of these tiny little things, I realized that they were UFOs. I realized that we were being invaded by aliens on the most beautiful day that I've ever seen. And I think that dream means that the day that we come in contact with something other than us, something that we can learn from, something that will change our daily lives, that will change history, 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 that will change history. That will be the most beautiful day. Something that will change our daily lives, that will change history, 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 that will change history. That will be the most beautiful day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in this evening, May 9th, Monday, here in Ukraine. What we are seeing on screen, again, guys, is the Victory Day Parade that we have been talking about all week, about to begin. Currently, 2:45 a.m. here on the East Coast in the United States, so it is a late one. Don't know how much, again, I'll be here with you guys this evening. I'm going to try to report on the parade. We're, again, expecting an announcement from the Kremlin after the parade, from Putin directly, after the parade begins, after the parade is over. Again, we're getting some live footage here out of Moscow as this parade is about to begin here. We've been watching this footage here for about an hour now, out of Ruptly, the main Russian video agency over there that provides a lot of live streaming and video coverage for RT, the main Russian media outlet there in Russia. Again, thank you to everybody that is tuning in this evening. Epi, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Nice to see our Scotsman tuning in the live chat over there. Tiger Eye 912, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Lori, thank you so much for tuning in. Says evening. Dude, it's morning. Too damn early morning. Yes. Yeah, I guess I said evening. I guess we're now technically in morning, both here in the United States and over here in Russia and Ukraine as well. Again, it's almost 3 a.m. here on the East Coast. Julia, thank you so much for tuning in today. Glad to see you. We're here in the breaking newsroom today, guys, this morning, watching this military parade unfold. We also have other live cameras up from Ukraine as well. Kharkiv, Kramatorsk, we have Kiev as well, and then our parade feed out of Moscow here. I'm hoping that the address will be given on this same feed so that I don't have to jump across feeds to see that address given by Putin. Again, the parade is about to begin. About 15 minutes here, a little less than 15 minutes here. Mandy, thank you so much for tuning in today. Chris, thank you so much for tuning in today. Says still evening on the East Coast. Well, at least I got it right for some of you guys. That makes it better. Thank you so much, Chris, for tuning in this evening. Rob D, thank you so much for tuning in. Says glad you're here for this Nemico. Yeah, I've been following this very closely all day. All day I've been keeping our eyes open for strikes or any type of provocations here within Ukraine. That's been the main job today. Has been kind of keeping an eye on what's been going on, collecting some of this data. And then also, everything leading up to this parade, of course, and the announcement that Putin's going to make after the parade. Again, there's a lot of different speculation on what he's going to say in this announcement. There's been speculation that he might, announce some sort of victory here. There's also speculation that he might announce some sort of further mobilization of the Russian military here. Again, we're going to wait and see what he has to say. Again, we're only an hour or so out from that announcement here that, again, Putin is expected to give here this morning. To everybody that is just tuning in, if you haven't already, guys, please hit that like button. Best way to get the algorithm's attention. Share this stream if you haven't already. If you like what you're seeing, share the stream. Hit that subscribe button, guys. We're going to be here with you for the next hour or so, bringing you coverage, live coverage out of Ukraine on the ongoing crisis for the Ukrainian war, but as well as separately covering directly what's going on here with this military parade, as well as the more importantly, the announcements that are going to be made after the parade. However, we will watch the parade as well and take a look at some of the things here. Again, we're watching this stream coming from Roughly. It does have a little bit of freezing. It does like to occasionally freeze out on us. So again, I will have to refresh that from time to time. Again, as we bring you this feed here coming out of Moscow. We do have other cameras up out of Ukraine as well, so we're still keeping an eye on what's going on in Ukraine very closely, guys. And of course, as I bring you these reports this morning, tonight here, as I bring you these reports, again, we'll be on what's going on with the parade. We'll also be paying attention as to what's going on in Ukraine as well. Julia says, love the Situation Room, Nemico, looking good. This is actually our second newsroom over here. This is our breaking newsroom here, again, as we come to you covering this military parade here. Snake, thank you so much for subscribing over there on the YouTube channel. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in this evening. Again, we are watching live footage of this parade about to occur here in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and this parade will be beginning here in Moscow. Lori actually saying something that I was thinking earlier, saying, anyone else wonder if a brave soldier will send a few drones to the Red Square? Guess it's just me. I also was thinking that earlier. We were watching this in a Discord chat earlier on our Discord server. That's discord.gg/Nemico if you want to join us over there. But we were watching this feed when it first came up in a kind of a private channel over there for a little while, discussing this, and we were talking about what if the Ukrainians decided to strike this parade here? That would be very interesting. Again, Jenny, thank you so much for tuning in today. Glad to see you here. Dan, thank you so much for tuning in today as well. Harlan, Andy, MD, Tech Shabby, thank you so much for tuning in. Tech says, will this speech be directly after the parade? I don't know. We don't know yet. It is expected to happen after the parade here. Occasionally, I will have to refresh this Rupley feed because it does come down once in a while. Yeah, we're getting this direct feed from Rupley here. Ms. Fishy says to switch over to the Zabby. Well, this is the same feed. His is locked up as well. We're all having this issue. all the channels that are restreaming this right now are having this issue. This Rupley feed directly is freezing up every once in a while and needing to be refreshed. Not sure if maybe the site is maybe experiencing some cyber attacks right now, or maybe it's just under a heavy load. It could be that it's just under a really heavy load as a lot of people are looking to tune in to this stream here. But yeah, it is having some issues that are beyond our control right now. Yeah, it's good for like while. It's good. It'll be good for a while, you know. In fact, it went for about 30 minutes. It was fine, and then started having some issues. Then it was good for a while again. Michelle Welch, thank you so much. Says been waiting for you all day. Well, here we are, Michelle. Thank you so much for tuning in. Glad to see you back. Hello, Taipei. Thank you so much for following over there on Twitch. Much appreciated. Matt Sunday says the Red Square is being broadcast. Yep, that is what we're broadcasting to you right here. This is coming, again, from Rupley here. We also have live feeds coming out of Kharkiv, out of Kramatorsk, out of Makariv here. This is what we call our Z-cam here. We see a lot of Russian activity in this occupied area in Ukraine here. And then again, yeah, Kharkiv down here. This is the Coke plant in Kharkiv. And then we're also bringing to you live footage, again, which occasionally is stuttering here, from Rupley out of Moscow for this Victory Day parade. Grace Johnston, thank you so much for that support there, saying, did you guys click the like button yet? Yes, if you haven't already, guys, please click that like button. We're just coming on the air here, giving you guys this coverage on not only the Ukraine war, but more specifically what's going on here with this live Victory Day parade here. Again, this is the Russians, probably one of their largest, non-secular holidays. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of their largest holidays in Russia. Victory Day. They're celebrating their World War II victory over the Nazis. Again, very stark similarities from then till now. What we're seeing here, again, is what they're calling their denazification campaign in Ukraine here. Their special military operation, as they call it, as the Russians call it. Again, I've noticed a lot of these tanks have those orange, I believe they're referred to as the Georgian stripes there. I've seen on a lot of these vehicles, which is very interesting. We've also seen a few Soviet flags being risen on a few of these vehicles today. In fact, we'll probably be able to see that here on this footage at some point here. In fact, if I switch over to our cam room, get me up there. Yeah, we'll put that up right there. We can get a little bit of a closer view here. I'll take this scroller and we'll move that down there for now. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. Again, you're seeing the red square here. BLK NGT says, not enough gas for the parade. Yeah, I believe they've had an incident before where they had a vehicle tank break down during their parade. I was wondering what would occur here if we saw that happen during this parade. That wouldn't be very good, again, for the Russians, for that to occur. Barry Moore, thank you so much for subscribing. Much appreciated. Yeah, I've seen a lot of reports over the past few hours. A lot of people talking about. A lot of people have sent me PMs as well, saying there's a lot of chat. In fact, Star just here in the live chat said quite a bit of chatter on Twitter saying that Russian TV channels have been hacked. I've heard some information as well. It could be possibly why the Replay feeds are having some issues this morning. That could be as well as they look to broadcast their Victory Day parade here. It could be that somebody's, trying to what's the word? Stomp on their parade, or what's the word? Storm on their parade. Kim, thank you so much for subscribing. Much appreciated. Again, thank you to everybody that is tuning in this morning or this evening. Again, depending on where you're tuning in from. Thank you to everybody that is following along on the reports. We're just getting going here. We're just coming on the air this morning. It is almost 3 a.m. here on the East Coast, almost 10 a.m. Russian time, 10 a.m. Moscow time, I should say there. Time is currently, I believe it's an hour earlier. Yeah, 9:36 here. Actually, that'd be 9:57 now. This feed is a little bit behind here. We'll have to get some of these other secondary feeds refreshed. I do have our auto refresher not running right now as we are doing the showing this main feed here, the Victory Day Parade feed. However, 9:57 Ukraine time, guys. Kiev time, I should say, 9:57. And I believe actually, is that different from Moscow time? Yeah, I believe, aren't they like an hour ahead? Oh no, same time Moscow is in Kiev. Okay, there's no time difference between Moscow and Kiev. Okay. Somebody earlier in the chat was saying was confusing me. They were saying, "Oh, there was an hour earlier." No. No, it's 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. is the parade, is the start of the parade here. Looks like it just got a little sunnier there on that camera as well. Again, hoping that this feed will hopefully smooth out the kinks when the parade begins here. Oh, Fetsy says because the spring forward, Moscow didn't spring forward like Ukraine did. Interesting. You mean like daylight savings times? Daylight savings times, as we call it here in Ukraine. Again, I think we do have another feed here as well coming up. Yep, actually we do. We have another feed coming up here, guys, as well. We will have actually two separate feeds here coming up, guys. One of Putin's address as well. A live feed coming up here in just a moment. Okay, so here, guys, we're going to switch over to this feed now. This is the Red Square feed here. Let's see here. Do we have audio coming out of this as well? I believe we do. Okay. So currently there is no audio coming out of... Let me see here. Yep. So there isn't any audio currently coming out of the feed. But I assume there will be shortly once they get rolling here. Okay, actually, so both feeds I think are showing... Okay, no, so they're still showing the military equipment there. All right, we're gonna put this one, we'll put this one up here for now.
Parade des Sieges.
Okay, I believe we're hearing some audio coming through now. I don't think we're going to have any live English translation, so we might have to wait until immediately after he gives the address to have that live translation. But we'll see. Sometimes Rupley does include an English translation, but it's not very likely. Again, so we're getting two separate feeds here live coming out of Moscow, guys. Brendan, thank you so much for subscribing. Much appreciated. Thank you to everybody that just subscribed. Much appreciated, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Again, we're just getting going here with reports on not only what's going on in Ukraine.
der Russischen Föderation
Okay, I think it's
und
starting
dem
here
Banner
again
des
with the Victory
Sieges
Day parade here that we're
stillgestanden.
looking.
Zur Meldung, die Augen links.
I believe we do have some live translation coming through there, if I'm not mistaken. Does look like their feeds are having a few issues. All right. So, it does look like...
Angehörigen der Air-Formation tragen die Nationalfahne der Russischen Föderation und das Siegesbanner. Vor 77
English. Okay, I can switch to the English one manually, guys. I'm switching to the English one. Stand by. We're switching to the English one. Stand by here, fellas and ladies and gentlemen. All right, this should be the English feed.
Today, the Russian national flag and the victory banner are in the safe hands of the...
All right, guys, we have the English translation live for you guys. And right there is a Soviet flag, guys. There are multiple you will see flying above some of these tanks here over the course of this report.
Lieutenant Valery Zolotuhin and Senior Lieutenant Gennady Zvonkov.
Yeah, okay, so we are having multiple reports here that their feeds are having issues. Multiple Russian TV feeds are having issues streaming this right now, guys. So it's not just Ruptly, but we're also getting reports that Russian television stations are having issues streaming this right now. So this is very interesting. Also, again, Rat Lady just sent over a PM saying, "Hello, Nemico. Thank you for doing this so late at night, U.S. time." Again, or should I say Omnisci? Thank you so much, Rat Lady, for tuning in tonight. Again, yeah, we are up a little late here, 3 a.m. over here on the East Coast, but I did want to bring you guys the reports on this. Again, you can see another Soviet flag there, hammer and sickle flag being flown there. We are having issues with this feed locking up. There is a lot, again, a lot of people looking to access this feed right now, but I think it's also possibly that there's some cyber attacks or sabotage happening here as well. We're seeing a lot of reports of issues across the board here.
The Nazi troops were seriously defeated for the first time since the war broke out.
Again, making correlations there to their victories there in World War II.
Both the Soviet...
Apparently, the South China Morning Post feed has a clear feed coming in. I might try to find that. Maybe we could swap over. Yeah, the Ruptly feeds are definitely having some issues, though.
For their valor.
Yeah, I'm trying to swap I'm just trying to refresh that one really quick, and then I'll maybe see if we can swap over.
Order established during the war.
Yeah, it's just having a lot of issues there.
The first Soviet order divided.
So apparently South China Morning Post has a good feed coming in. Yeah, they do. Do they have English translation? I believe they do. Maybe they do. There you go. You see the Soviet flag there as well. Our Ruptly one is just totally disintegrated. Non-existent. So I guarantee you guys the South China Morning Post here are getting probably a separate feed. Here we go. Alright. I guess we'll go full screen with it for now. I don't think we're gonna. Are we gonna get? Oh, here we go. We have English. We have English subs as well. Yeah, Fancy, I was saying probably a direct satellite feed. Yeah, Ruptly is definitely having issues with their feeds right now. So I do have some closed captioning here. I can live translate for us as well. I take that back. It is 110% not giving us any good. It said what, live or not. That's all it translated there for us. Jack Rowe, thank you so much for subscribing. Again, guys, going to try to get a proper feed up here for us. I will keep this up again because it is the smoothest feed we got so far of it. However, I do want that English translation, especially when the address occurs.
The Russian Federation, the troops of the Moscow garrison on the parade to mark the 77th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriot.
The Ruptly feed is also a little bit ahead, I've noticed.
Товарищ министр обороны Российской Федерации, войска Московского гарнизона для парада во знаменование 77-й годовщины Победы в Великой Отечественной войне построены командующий парадом генерал армии Салюков.
The combined army regiment of the Russian armed forces and the cadets of the...
Tiger Eye said, honestly, the closed caption is funny AF, not gonna lie. Yeah, they would spitting out some weird stuff there. What in my pockets, thank you so much for subscribing. To everybody that just subscribed, thank you guys so much for tuning in this evening. Glad to have you guys on board. Again, we are watching live here, this Victory Day Parade here out of Moscow. I'm also currently monitoring multiple locations and cameras in Ukraine. We're keeping a close eye on what's going on in Ukraine during this parade as well. Again,
I congratulate you on the 77th anniversary of the victory.
I'll go back full screen for you guys here. Now that we have our translations running.
Здравствуйте, товарищи!
The ground forces are the backbone of the Russian army.
Вас 77-й годовщиной Победы в Великой Отечественной войне!
Russian troops are constantly improving their combat skills, learning how to...
Patty Whack, thank you so much for tuning in today. Glad to see you here. I'm going to turn down that audio just a little bit here.
I congratulate you on the 77th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War.
Yes, so we actually have we have multiple separate feeds here.
Здравствуйте, товарищи! Поздравляю вас с 77-й годовщиной Победы в Великой
Actually, no, that one is, I think it's just, yeah, that one is just a little bit behind. John Holt, thank you so much for tuning in today. Matthew, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Das Goldenay, thank you so much for tuning in. Creation, thank you so much for tuning back in. Nice to see you, Creation.
Of the Western Military District, Signal Corps, Military Police, Russia's National Guard, and the Ministry of Emergencies.
Hans, thank you so much for subscribing.
And also the Nuclear, Biological, and Chemical Protection Troops. You on the 77th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War.
Здравствуйте, товарищи!
And the National Guard of
Поздравляю
Russia.
вас с 77-й годовщиной победы в Великой Отечественной войне!
Good morning, comrades. I can relate.
So here he's greeting like the different branches of the Russian military here.
Здравствуйте, товарищи!
Mother Saki, thank you so much for tuning in today. Again, we're kind of giving you guys a live rundown here of what we're seeing here at this live parade. We're also hearing English translations here coming from what he's saying.
And cadets of the Sukhoi, the team of the academies, the Naval Cadet Corps, as well as the Young Army Patriotic Movement called UNARMY.
I'll boost the translation audio and lower this audio, so you guys can hear that English translation better.
Comrade Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, the troops of the Moscow garrison are ready for the
Dan's Outdoor Adventures, thank you so much for tuning in today. Glad to see you, says Nemico. When are we getting a face reveal? Maybe at 100K. Alright, so darkness will come if they're going to come on Toshil. What do you say? See, what was your initial analysis configuration? Where is God? Yeah, these live. I don't know if you guys could see. In fact, hold on. Let me make this. Hold on. Let me.
Men and Sergeant Major.
Okay, so Putin is about to give the speech here.
Of the motherland, when its fate wasn't at stake, was always sacred. This is the feeling of true patriotism that felt the defenders of the Patria, meaning Požaras.
So here we're getting the speech from Ruptly with the live translation here.
And Kharkiv. That's how it's happening now, these days. You're fighting for our people in Donbass, for safety of our motherland, of Russia. May 9th of 1945 will forever be perpetuated as a triumph of our one single Soviet people, of its cohesion and spiritual might, unparalleled exploit both at the front line and at the home front.
Again, you can see that Rupley feed there.
Great, but
Having a hard time to keep
we
up.
will always remember that these days in the Immortal Regiment marches, children,
So somebody said the Telegraph maybe has a live one that has.
we are proud to be their descendants, and it
better
is
translation, I'll try that.
our right to
Again, we'll be fully analyzing the speech again after. It's like,
People
here we go.
holding pictures of their relatives. This is going to happen in Moscow after the parade. We're proud of the war generation, the generation of victors. Our duty is to preserve the memory of those who allowed us to be these victors and did everything so that a global war would not be repeated. Russia has always supported a system of equal global system of security. In recent years, we've tried to pursue security talks. We've entered into honest dialogue. Everything was in vain. People didn't want to listen to us. They had completely different plans, and we see that now.
В Киеве заявляли о возможном приобретении ядерного оружия. Блок НАТО начал активное военное освоение прилегающих к нам территорий.
NATO is actively pursuing our territory. This is an absolutely unacceptable threat to us.
Все говорило о том, что столкновение с неонацистами, бандеровцами, на которых США и их младшие компаньоны сделали ставку, будет неизбежным.
We're talking about neo-Nazis. In Ukraine, the USA and its junior partners are working with. Ukraine is getting deliveries of the most modern weaponry from NATO.
Это было вынужденное, своевременное и единственно правильное решение.
The decision for this special military operation was forced, timely, and the only correct decision.
Соединенные Штаты Америки, особенно после распада Советского Союза, заговорили о своей исключительности.
The USA, after the fall of the Soviet Union, was speaking about its exceptionalism.
Которым приходится делать вид, что они ничего не замечают, и покорно все это проглатывать. Но мы другая страна. У России другой характер.
But we're a different country. We have a different character.
От веры и традиционных ценностей.
From faith and traditional values.
От уважения ко всем народам и культурам.
We have respect for all people and cultures.
Тысячелетние ценности, судя по всему, решили отменить. Такая нравственная деградация стала основой циничных фальсификаций.
He's talking about the moral degradation of the West, which is a favorite topic for him. Talking about the rise of Russophobia.
Издевательство над памятью жертв. Перечеркивание мужества тех, кто добыл и выстрадал победу. Нам известно, что американским ветеранам, которые хотели приехать на парад в Москву, фактически запретили это делать.
So, American veterans wanted to come to the Victory Day parade in Moscow, but they were practically banned from doing so.
Мы чтим всех воинов союзнических армий, американцев, англичан, французов, участников
We remember all the victims of all Allied armies, France, England, Germany, everyone who helped defeat Nazism.
Сегодня ополченцы Донбасса вместе с бойцами армии России сражаются на своей земле, где разили врага дружинники Святослава и Владимира Мономаха, солдаты Румянцева и Потемкина, Суворова и Брусилова, где насмерть стояли герои Великой Отечественной войны: Николай Ватутин, Сидоровкавпак, Людмила Павличенко. Обращаюсь сейчас к нашим вооруженным силам и к ополченцам Донбасса.
Talking about the fight ongoing in the Donbass now, the people fighting for their nation, for their future, for people who have not forgotten the lessons of the Second World War and the victory over Nazism.
You can hear the translator even having a hard time
in the Second World War.
Keeping up with this bullshit.
In the memory of the sons, the fathers, the mothers, the daughters, the grandfathers, the husbands, the wives, brothers, sisters, friends and family.
Мы склоняем голову перед памятью мучеников Одессы, заживо сожженных в Доме профсоюзов в мае 2014 года.
We remember the people who died in the fire in Odessa in 2014. We remember the peaceful civilians who died in the Donbass.
Мы склоняем голову перед
Turned up the translator volume there,
боевыми товарищами, которые пали смертью храбрых в праведном бою за Россию.
We remember people who've died fighting for Russia.
Минута молчания.
And now we're going to observe a minute silence.
All right, so as they observe their minute of silence there in the red square here, guys, I'll give a few comments. Again, for everybody that's just tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in to this morning's report. Again, 3:30 a.m. here on the East Coast, 10 a.m. here in Moscow, just past 10 a.m. here in Moscow. Actually, almost 10:30 here. Again, we're watching the Victory Day parade and announcement by Putin here. Again, he's talking about not only the significance of their holiday here, but also what's going on with their, quote, special military operation in Ukraine. He's kind of talking about this kind of broader fight against Nazism here, this kind of denazification, as they're calling it, of Ukraine. Again, we're listening in here to Putin's speech. We're taking kind of a moment of silence here.
Уважаемые товарищи, гибель каждого нашего солдата и офицера – это горе для всех нас и невосполнимая утрата для родных и близких. Государства, регионы, предприятия, общественные организации сделают все, чтобы окружить заботой такие семьи, помочь им. Особую поддержку окажем детям погибших и раненых боевых товарищей. Указ президента об этом сегодня подписан. Скорейшего выздоровления желаю раненым солдатам и офицерам. И благодарю врачей, фельдшеров, медсестер, медицинский персонал военных госпиталей за самоотверженную работу. Низкий поклон вам за то, что боретесь за каждую жизнь. Часто под обстрелом на передовой, не жалея себя. Уважаемые товарищи, сейчас здесь, на Красной площади, плечом к плечу стоят солдаты и офицеры из многих регионов нашей огромной Родины.
Here on Red Square, many soldiers from different regions from all across our country.
Прямо из Донбасса,
Some have come straight from the Donbass, who've come immediately from a fighting zone.
Как враги России пытались использовать против нас банды международных террористов.
We remember how enemies have tried to use terrorism against us, or terrorist groups. Soldiers of different nationalities are now fighting with us, nationalities within Russia. That's the strength of Russia, that we have many nations.
За что сражались отцы и деды, прадеды. Для них высшим смыслом жизни всегда были благополучие и безопасность Родины. И для нас, их наследников, преданность отчизне, главная ценность, надежная опора независимости России.
All of these people fighting for the independence of Russia.
Те, кто сокрушил нацизм в годы Великой Отечественной войны, показали нам пример героизма на все времена.
Those who defeated Nazism showed us an example of heroism for all time, and will always strive to compare to them.
За Россию, за победу!
For Russia, for victory. There was one. There was one bit that he was saying where it's slightly cut out on my feed, but it sounded like he was announcing a presidential decree to support the families of people who'd died or been injured in Ukraine, but I would need to check that just to add to what I was saying.
Okay, Kate, happy to go live here, Kate. Good morning. You join the Telegraph for a live broadcast of the Victory Day parade in Moscow. I'm Dominic Nichols, the Telegraph's Defence and Security Editor. I'm joined by Theo Mers, our Assistant Foreign Editor, who's just done a sterling work translating President Putin's speech. There's much more yet to come. I'm not sure if Putin's going to speak again. But interesting, Theo, he was just obviously welcoming everyone to the parade and thanking everyone for their sacrifice in the Second World War. But he very quickly changed it to referring to the war in Ukraine, and mentioned there were some fighters who had literally come straight from fighting in the Donbass to be here in Red Square today. And you were saying when we were off air briefly that it's unusual for him to be so forthright against America, to actually mention America by name. That was quite a bullish commentary. He's not yet, as we suspected he might do, not yet said anything about declaring war or broadening out the offensive in Ukraine.
There is supposed to be a speech
quite
after
a bullish
the parade,
start,
from
Theo.
What
do you think?
Yes, he talks. Last year he talked about Russophobia, and he talked about the increasing threat from the West, and this is rhetoric that has been ramping up all throughout his time in power. But I think it is quite unusual for these speeches for him to mention the USA by name and say that they are working with neo-Nazis in.
So. Yeah, again, we just heard those Telegraph translators translating the Putin speech there live. Okay, so just to break that down, there was a few different things I took from that. First of all, again, he did mention the West and NATO kind of almost directly. He also talked about again what those Telegraph translators there were just mentioning, kind of that Russophobia, the Russian phobia kind of thing, that kind of idea there. Again, I do have. We were informed earlier that after the parade occurs, that there will be a further speech by President Putin there. Again, waiting to see what occurs here after the parade. That might have been our speech there. Again, I think we did hear him hinting something about kind of a presidential decree there, talking about possibly providing aid to the families that have been affected, families of Russian soldiers that had fallen. Again, nothing about a further mobilization there of Russian troops. However, it is possible here that we are going to hear more of a speech from Mr. Putin towards the end of this parade. So stand by here, guys. Again, thank you to everybody that is tuning in this evening. Again, we're watching live from Moscow their May 9th Victory Day parade. Greenville Hauser says, I think he declared victory, will sign a decree, and then vanish from the scene for surgery or otherwise. Possible. It's possible here. Again, we see them switching over to, again, this is that Telegraph feed here.
Museum and what have you. So, yeah, I mean, fairly bullish start there from Putin. And you think maybe, we'd have to listen back, but you think maybe a presidential decree to help the families of lost servicemen but nothing yet as strong as has been suggested about using the war word or broadening out the attack.
Right. So yeah, we haven't heard anything, guys. Again, directly about any of these, like a victory, any mention of a victory yet, or any mention of, and then you see Mr. Putin sitting there, President Putin sitting there, watching his parade there. Again, we haven't seen him again make any of those statements which we were expecting here. We might, however, again, it's been reported that he will be speaking again after the parade. Yeah, somebody said something about him banning U.S. vets from participating in the parade. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't quite get what he was saying there. Mimi, thank you so much for the super chat there. Says, have some coffee, Nemico. Yeah, it is getting, again, pretty late here, but 3:30 a.m., but I'm up here tonight, again, bringing you guys this reporting here for what's going on with this Victory Day, May 9th address here by Putin and this parade here. Again, thank you so much for the support, Mimi. Thanks so much for tuning in this evening. To everybody tuning in this evening, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, we are waiting. Hopefully, at the end of the parade here, we'll see a further address given by Putin. As was reported earlier, it was supposed to happen after. The main speech was supposed to happen after the parade, not before. So that could have just been like an opening statement by Putin there that we just heard. However, we won't know until the end of the parade. It might be later in the day we'll get an official press release again for maybe that mobilization there, or possibly that statement of victory there from the Russians. Thank you, Tiger Eye, so much for tuning in this evening. Epi Moo, thank you so much for tuning in. Jack, LJ Boone, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. To everybody that is tuning into the stream tonight, guys, thank you so much for stopping by here. Again, we're bringing you live reportage here on what's going on with this Victory Day parade, and yeah, we actually had a tweet here posted earlier from a Twitter source saying TV systems have been hacked for May 9th with a message on some Russian television saying, your hands are covered in blood from the deaths of thousands of Ukrainians and children. Very interesting. I'll probably be bringing you guys that in tomorrow's report, or tonight, I should say tonight's report. Yeah, very interesting. Mother Saki says he's wearing a Z ribbon. Are you referring to Putin there? I didn't actually catch it. Was on his jacket there? Or? I just got a tweet here. I'm going to try to get it translated. 1 second here. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it did. We did again have reporting that he is supposed to be giving a speech at the end of the parade. So that's what we're looking for here, as to what his statements will be after the parade has occurred here. Again, we've seen quite a few Soviet flags flying here in this parade. on some of the Russian vehicles earlier, which is that's not outside of the norm here for these Victory Day parades. I feel like we've seen quite a few of them this year, though. We can switch over here, actually. We do have a few different feeds to cycle through here. I'll bring that audio back up here and we'll listen in. John G says, I'm disappointed. 4chan told me Russia was going to nuke us at 3:37 a.m. Yeah, there's been a whole bunch of reports going around, a whole bunch of speculation as to what was going to occur today.
Theo, rather interestingly, we're now seeing reports from Russian state media that the air parade today is cancelled due to bad weather. I mean, we've got that from a number of different sources, also from the website of Russian state media. That would be very surprising. Firstly, the weather doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's a bit windy. I mean, you can see there's sort of overcast,
yeah,
but I used to fly helicopters for the British Army. I've flown in a lot worse than that. That would be surprising, would it not? Because there were suggestions that the whole parade is going to be about a third down in terms of equipment numbers on what it normally is, because so much equipment has been lost and so much is deployed. That was going to include the air element, and a lot of the air element, we were told, would have been made up with old MiG-31 fighters. But now to say they're cancelling the entire air element is notable, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't...
So that is interesting. They're saying here that they are going to be canceling the flyovers. So again, towards the end of the parade, they always have the flyovers, with the Russian aircraft. Apparently they're canceling it due to weather. But yeah, it does look pretty blue skies and sunny there in Moscow. So that's very interesting. Could be possibly their aircraft aren't up to snuff. Maybe there's some kind of air threat to them that they're worried about there. Not exactly sure. Let's tune back in here to the audio here coming out of this Victory Day parade.
I think what is going on, and then remember that it's this parade next week. Though I imagine that would feel very different now that Russia is actually at war, or at least carrying out this quote-unquote special operation against Nazis in Ukraine. It must have a very different feeling seeing these fighter jets in the air, even in the run-up to this parade, even if you do know that it's a rehearsal for this.
How long were you there for?
I was there for, well, I was a correspondent there most recently for 4 years, but I've been coming and going sort of since my degree in Russian, and it has been amazing to see. So I've sort of seen the latter. I've been there since 2007, 2008. So I've sort of seen Putin 2.0 after he left and came back after he left the Kremlin and was prime minister for.
So I'm seeing a lot of reporting here saying that Russian TV has been disrupted in multiple different regions across Russia during this parade here. Somebody said it could be a pilot shortage. Possibly. It was supposed to occur until the last minute here. They just announced that it is not going to occur. This is interesting. Yeah, somebody said there's a lot of planes flying around that area on flight radar. Actually, yeah, I'm going to check that right now. A bunch of commercial flights over Moscow, but they can't have their military aircraft can't handle it. Yeah, Moscow is loaded with commercial aircraft right now, you guys. Absolutely loaded, but for some reason they canceled the air parade due to weather? What? What's going on here?
Union and pictures of Lenin. Now, Lenin he died in 23, I think, so although he was a founding father of the Soviet Union, he wasn't around in the Second World War. Is that normal to see pictures of Lenin on an event like this?
It's because it's...
Mother Saki says...
the banners that they
Mother Saki just sent over, she says, according to the Weather Channel, Moscow weather is 48 degrees, partly cloudy, winds from the northwest at 15 miles an hour. So that doesn't look unflyable. Again, I'm not a pilot, but that doesn't sound like it's unflyable to me. Again, thank you to everybody that tuned in this evening. Much appreciated. Again, we're waiting through this this Victory Day, this May 9th Victory Day parade here, hoping to have another address here from Putin. Again, it was reported earlier that he was going to be having a speech at the end of the parade, not the beginning. So I think what we saw earlier was that opening speech there. Again, we'll have to wait and see after the parade is over. We won't have the flyovers, so it will be a little bit shorter.
And from people to you at all?
Yeah, I think I noticed that very dramatically from the first time I went there in 2008, when Russia was a really open society and there were a lot of Westerners there, and it sort of wasn't remarkable that I was foreign or that I was learning Russian. And then when I went back in 2017, I think things had really changed. It was post-sanctions. There weren't so many foreigners there. It was sort of slightly more hostile, though Russia still felt a bit open to the world, that they had the World Cup.
see Putin there sitting amongst his many military officials there. Again, we're currently watching this victory parade, this Victory Day parade here. You can see a Soviet flag there on that tank there, leading the way there. There's a lot of the Georgian stripes. That symbology I've noticed is very prevalent here today. You can see the hammer and sickle there above that older tank there. To everybody that's tuning in, thank you guys for joining us this morning here. Again, watching this live recording coming out of Moscow here. This Victory Day parade, and again, we're waiting to see possibly another announcement given by Putin towards the end of the parade. John G says, Nemico Network, do you think they'll roll out the Z mystery machine? Maybe. It might make an appearance. We'll have to see. They might have a whole fleet of them. Squiggly says, are we expecting a general mobilization speech from Putin? Well, we are expecting a speech more than what he gave in that opening statement there. However, is it going to be for general mobilization? Again, there's been speculation on that. I personally don't think that will be the case. I think it's a possibility. I don't think he'll announce that today. A lot of people are saying that's a possibility, so we'll have to wait and see. But again, I think I'm kind of trying to be a little bit more conservative here when it comes to try not to jump to conclusions here. Trying to again not be as speculative. What the facts tell me is that he might try to declare, it's a little bit of a victory here, but, admit that the war's not over. It's I don't know, again, we're going to have to wait and see what he says here in this speech that apparently he's supposed to give after the parade. He did give a small speech at the beginning, though, and again, I'm not sure if that was just his opening statement there. Mimi says, Nemico looks like he's going to be rolled over by a tank. Well, you never know. Connor asked a good question. He says, how come these tanks and trucks don't have the Z mark on them? Well, that is because the Z mark, again, is a unit identification mark for when they're in active combat theater. At the parade here, they're just, again, they're being put out for show. Those Z's are usually put on with, paint or tape, pretty shabbily. Again, they're trying to make everything look as shiny as they possibly can here. Again, you can see those Georgian stripes along all of the vehicles here. Alexander reports that 26 minutes ago the Russian army has resumed their assault on Apostal. The UN column has left. Again, I'll have to take a look at those reports here shortly. Take a look at those sources to see if we're getting any information out of that area at this time. We're going to be keeping a close eye on what occurs not only during and after this parade, but for the remainder of the day. Again, you can see Putin there sitting down, hanging out with his generals there with his coat or a blanket or something on his lap there. So Crescent said the 3 running T-14s. Yeah, I was watching them earlier move those T-14s into position for this parade. I think there's actually more than 3. There's a few others in the parade as well. But yeah, I was talking earlier with some of our cohorts over on the Discord about how that's probably the only T-14s we'll see during this entire war, is the ones in the military parade. Alexander says that according to live UA map. Okay, I'll take a look at that here shortly. MD15 says they just happen to have never been used for anything but parades. Yep. Systems there moving in. We'll probably also see some nuclear missiles as well here. Can somebody tell me, are these like cruise missile systems here, or are those air defense systems? Mother Saki says, I just put a clip for you of one of the tanks going down the street blowing smoke from oil. That's interesting. I'll have to go look at that as well. Yeah, somebody said there's SAMs, yeah. Those bigger ones look like some maybe ICBMs there. Maybe? No? Some smaller missiles there? But we will see some nukes, I'm pretty sure. Some long-range ballistic missile here. You'll notice because they're much larger. It's like one missile per truck. Yeah, somebody said those are S-300s. Yeah, more SAMs, yep. Somebody says probably no ICBMs today. I think we saw a few moving into position earlier, so I think there are a few. I'm pretty sure earlier today when I was watching this footage, before we went live with it for you guys watching as they were moving these tanks into position, moving these vehicles into position in Moscow here, and I believe we did see a few nukes. Or more specifically, a few ballistic missiles is what we should, the wording we should be using there. Yeah, Throw111 says there should be at least 3 from rehearsals. So yeah, we'll have to see here. Stephen Rowley, thank you so much for subscribing. Much appreciated. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much for following along with us this morning. There we go. There's our ballistic missiles. You can tell they're one large unit there. One large missile system. I believe we have 3 of them in the parade. Yeah, as Thoreau said. See, yeah, you can see the other ones behind it there. Yep, 3 in a row here. Multiple fire extinguishers mounted on the front there. using like RC car cameras. They're using like remote control cameras. Little RC cars that are zipping around here. That's what you guys are seeing. Some of those axle shots, they actually drive under the vehicles. I was watching earlier. Very interesting. Again, this parade here just dragging on here in Moscow as we're waiting again to see if President Putin will be giving an address after the parade. He's slated to give another address after the parade. A lot of people saying they just resumed shelling at Avastal, at that steelworks factory in Mariupol, shortly after his statement there. Okay, so you can see Putin getting up there. Is he coming back to make another speech, or is he leaving? Take it, he's leaving. Looks like he's leaving. Is that it? Is he just leaving now, or are we not going to get another... We might get a separate press release. That could be what we see here. Shaking some hands here. Some people saying he's walking with a limp. He does look a little bit limpy. Okay. See him here talking to some military officials here. Some decorated military members, I believe, is what he was speaking to there. Is he heading back up to the stage area now, or is he leaving? Okay. So, some people are saying that he's walking towards the tomb here. There's like a kind of like a memorial here that he could be walking over to now. So yeah, there was supposed to be the air parade, the aircraft that flew over, and they didn't, so there's like a change of plans. I think that's what they're doing now for this, is they're just walking him over there to do this kind of thing by the memorial there. I think it's like the... Yeah, some people saying that he said this. Yeah, we're still waiting to see here if they cut the feed or if there's going to be another address here from Putin. Calgal says maybe trying to make people think he's healthy, possibly. Dan's Outdoor Adventures, thank you so much, man, for tuning in this evening. Again, yeah, it is pretty late here, 4 a.m. Eastern time here on the East Coast. So yeah, we are up pretty late this evening. almost 11 a.m. Yeah, about 11 a.m. Moscow time, 11 a.m. Kiev time. Yeah, it looks like he is going to possibly place flowers here at this tomb here. Somebody was it that asked that? John G says, "Is that winter chubbiness or 4 layers of body armor?" Probably a bit of both, I would imagine. Russia there, burning as well. Interesting. See for Putin here at the those calling the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier here in Moscow. I believe that's where we're at here. The eternal flame here. parade sirens going off right now, actually. A couple different regions in Ukraine. So if you notice there, we totally lost sight of Putin. Oh, there he is. Spoke too soon. Harlan, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Says good night or good morning. Yep. Good night and or good morning to you, to everybody who's tuning in this morning, guys. Again, we're watching this live feed here coming out of Moscow of the May 9th Victory Day Parade there. We heard a little bit of a speech at the beginning from Putin. Also, we're expected to see another speech by him at the end of the parade. However, this has not been confirmed. Anna, thank you so much for subscribing over there. Much appreciated. Welcome aboard. see him here placing these flowers on these memorials here. Again, we just saw President Vladimir Putin there putting those flowers on those memorials there. Again, not sure if this is ending off the Victory Day parade here. Still waiting to see. And it was reported that he would possibly be giving a speech after the parade. However, he did give a little bit of a speech at the beginning. They also canceled their air parade today due to what they called bad weather. So it does look like our feed has been cut there. Our feed from South China Morning Post. Let's tune into the Telegraph here, see what they're talking about.
That is the end of the live feed as we've taken it from Moscow. You've been watching Telegraph live coverage of the Russian Victory Day parade from Red Square in Moscow.
So,
with me, Dominic.
Again, guys, that we just witnessed the Victory Day parade there in Moscow and those statements from Russian President Vladimir Putin. I think we could expect to see another press release from him later today. I would not put that outside the realm of possibility. I'm checking the Rutley live events here to see if they have anything else that is currently slated. It is actually slated to resume shortly, their Victory Day parade on Red Square. However, nothing currently up at this moment. Again, thank you. Big shout out to everybody that tuned in today for this late night, early morning report here out of both Ukraine and Russia today. We were, again, bringing you that live view of that parade there and those statements from Russian President Vladimir Putin. We didn't see those big statements of victory yet. We didn't see those big statements of mobilization, as a lot of people have been speculating. I didn't really think we were going to see those again during the parade. I was speculating that we would see that after the parade in kind of an address. We haven't seen any of that yet. We might, however, see we might get a press release from him later today, guys. So keep your ears and eyes open. I expect we could be hearing more from the Kremlin today. Really quickly, I'm going to run down. There were some reports coming in of air raid alerts occurring as we were bringing you that report. 12 minutes ago. In fact, let's go over to the breaking news room here, guys. I'm going to bring you over there, and we will show you what's going on here. So during that parade, guys, during that parade here, we had Kiev Oblast, 12 minutes ago. Red alert, aerial threat siren sounding now. 14 minutes ago, red alert, aerial threat sirens sounding now. Take cover. That's for Kiev, the capital city there. We also had Kharkiv 27 minutes ago. Red alert, aerial threat sirens sounding now. 29 minutes ago, we had some reports of shelling in a village community of in the Dnipro-Petrovisk region there. About an hour ago here when the parade started, the Russian army resumed assault on the Avastal in Mariupol, just as the UN column left via the evacuation bridge. Again, so those are reports that have just happened here in the past 10 to 15 minutes. Again, the biggest report here coming out is that just in the past 10-15 minutes here, we have air raids coming in out of Kiev and the broader region of Kiev Oblast. Some people saying, again, Mehmet has tweeted sirens, but hasn't heard any artillery yet or any explosions yet. Again, we'll keep you guys posted here. We do, again, have air raid alerts coming out of Kiev at this time. I have audio coming out of Kharkiv for us this morning. You can hear that coming through on the stream now. We're going to switch over to our cam room. In fact, right now, guys, we are hearing air raid sirens coming through our Kharkiv audio as we speak. You can hear them in the background there. Again, for everybody just tuning in, we just got done watching that parade there today. In Moscow at Victory Day May 9th parade. Currently getting lots of reports of air raid sirens sounding in Ukraine, many different regions right now as we speak. We're hearing some audio possibly coming out of Kiev. Possibly coming out of Kharkiv there. Yeah, the sun feed has been cut as well. Nothing but showing a blue sky right now, which is interesting. They're showing the blue sky on the sun feed, and they said they canceled the aircraft parade due to bad weather, but it's perfectly sunny, blue skies in Moscow right now as we're talking, guys. Very interesting. Again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. Best way to get the algorithm's attention here. Currently tracking some of the after-parade reports here from some of our different sources. So we're getting feeds here from Belarus of their Victory Day celebrations as well. Heard a boom there coming out of Kharkiv. Yeah, that Russian doomsday plane designed to protect the President Vladimir Putin there in the event of a nuclear attack was slated to make its appearance at this Victory Day parade. However, all of the aircraft did not make an appearance there. They were canceled due to a again, a strike, or sorry, not a strike, but a report of bad weather there. Very interesting. Again, getting sounds of possibly air raid sirens coming out of a few different areas here. I'm going to refresh our live map. Yeah, so 6 minutes ago, Le Mans as well, air raids. So we're having a whole bunch come in right now, right after the parade occurred. So yeah, multiple. So all of those feeds for that Victory Day parade from Ruppely have gone down now. One second, I gotta get our auto refreshing working here for the camera feeds. So just stand by for that. Yeah, the Belarusian parade is still going. However, I'm not going to be bringing you guys the Belarusian parade on the stream here today. Broken Cassette Player says, any chance of attacks being increased today by Russia since planes weren't at the parade? I don't know. That's kind of hard. I don't think any of those planes that would have been in the parade are, like, you know, ready for combat. You know what I'm saying? Like, not at least outfitted for combat. They were, you know, designated for the parade, for show. Yeah, we have the feed of the Belarus parade. However, it's about to end here in just a few minutes anyway. And again, it's more of the same showboating. Michelle asked, what channel does Mehmet use regular so he can keep track of them? He uses his Twitch, I think, the most. I'm gonna remove this here, as we don't need that up. And I'll move myself down here like that. Very interesting here, guys. Again, keep your eyes open. Possibly, we will be seeing a announcement, or sorry, a press release later today from Putin. But also, guys, we might also very well see further strikes and provocations here in Ukraine over the course of the day. So keep your eyes and ears open, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Much appreciated.